As a kid, I learned a lot of great lessons from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but they all pale in comparison to this. Yes, this is a banana wrapped in a slice of white deli American cheese. Mr. Rogers demoed this recipe in an episode all about snacks. I watched him do it, went and tried it immediately, and was an instant convert. It is a perfect study in contrast. You have the slightly firmish cheese that gives way to a soft, creamy banana. And the savory richness of the cheese balances the banana's sweetness. I do hope you'll try it. But if you think that's really weird, just wait for the rest of this episode. Bananas are huge. No, not that kind of huge. I mean in terms of production and popularity. Over 100 million tons of bananas are produced globally every year. Tomatoes hold the top spot in terms of fruit production globally. But if you're not so much into botany telling you that tomato is technically a fruit, bananas slide right into number one. We can classify most bananas under two main categories: cooking bananas and dessert bananas. Cooking bananas can be and are eaten raw, but most commonly they're cooked at various stages of ripeness. They are valued as a staple for hundreds of millions of people across the globe. And they have serious range. They can be fried, boiled, ground into flour, and so much more. Not to mention the plant's leaves and flowers, which are also culinary gold. Now, dessert bananas are the ones that are usually eaten raw, out of hand when they're ripe and sweet. They're the ones that predominate at US supermarkets, and they're the focus of today's episode. Even within the dessert banana realm, there's massive variety. We have ladyfingers, praying hands, red bananas, gros michel, blue java, and manzano, just to name a few. They can have the taste and texture of vanilla ice cream, the sweet tart balance of an apple, or feature loads of tropical fruit aromas. Sorry, what's that? You haven't heard of any of these bananas. You've only ever seen one, maybe two varieties of bananas at your store? Gotcha. Well, chances are good that you live in a part of the world that doesn't grow bananas. If that's the case, variety and banana are two words that have probably never shown up in the same sentence for you. And that is because there is one banana that dominates world production and distribution. It's called the cavendish. It's a pretty nice name. This banana accounts for 99% of all bananas sold in the US, which is pretty wild. But it wasn't always the case. The banana that the United States first fell in love with in the 19th century was called the Gros Michel. It was nearly wiped out by a fungus called Panama disease. So in the 1960s, the industry switched to the seemingly disease-resistant Cavendish variety. However, in the 1990s, you guys remember the 1990s, right? Grunge, flannel, AOL Instant Messenger, Alanis Morissette misunderstanding the term irony, pagers, the Macarena. Oh, and scientists identified a new strain of Panama disease called Tropical Race 4. Banana growers in Latin America have confirmed the new strain's presence. So we all collectively wait for the fate of the Cavendish. While we're waiting, let's talk about ripening. Bananas are climacteric fruits. That means that they continue to ripen after harvest. In the case of bananas, they are picked when mature, but before they begin ripening. Off the plant, the change they go through is pretty dramatic, from green all the way to black with many stages in between. Picking starts the release of ethylene gas, which triggers a cascade of changes in the fruit. Acids decrease, leading to a mellower tasting fruit. Chlorophyll breaks down, starting the transformation from green to yellow, and starch begins to convert to sugar. Fun fact, the reason they often hang bananas at the supermarket is to help disperse that concentrated ethylene gas. That causes the bananas to ripen more slowly, which is good for the store. Now back to starch and sugar. Check out this experiment. Here is what we call a lightly speckled banana, and here is a heavily speckled banana. In lab tests, we found that lightly speckled bananas average 1.8% fruit dose, which is a very sweet fruit sugar, and heavily speckled bananas average 5.3% fruit dose. That's almost 3 times more fruit dose, and it keeps going all the way until the skin is dark brown. For say, banana bread, heavily speckled fruit makes a huge difference in terms of sweetness and flavor. One thing I find really interesting is that banana ripeness preference is such an individual thing. I think we can all mostly agree that an apple is at its best when it's crisp with a nice sweet tart balance, and that Hass avocados are at their prime when they are soft, rich, and fully ripe. And the best peach is sweet and spilling with juice. I have friends that eat bananas that still have some green on them. Can you believe that? You can't believe it, right? Oh, you can't believe that I have friends. Cool. Well, let's look at the spectrum of banana ripeness. We have green with a trace of yellow with a trace of green, pure yellow, lightly speckled, heavily speckled, and brown/black. I am so curious about people's banana ripeness preferences. I even asked strangers at parties. I'm unfortunately being serious. And I really want to know what type of banana eater you are. So I'm setting up a little poll in the comments. Here's how we'll do it. First, choose your preferred ripeness level. Then answer 1 if you prefer that ripeness, but would happily eat a banana at any other ripeness level. 10 is for those whose ripeness preference is so strong that they would absolutely refuse to eat a banana outside of that level. I'll go first. I'm a heavily speckled 7. That means that a heavily speckled banana is my preference, and then I'm pretty strong on that. I would eat a lightly speckled banana, but there's no way I'm going less ripe than that. I can't wait to see the results, and I'll remind you again at the end. Okay, now let's talk about some banana mechanics. No, definitely not that kind. I mean the mechanics of actually eating a banana. Some people open bananas at the stem end like this. Others go in from the other side like this. Now, both methods have pros and cons. Going from the stem end requires puncturing the tough peel, usually with a fingernail to prevent actually squishing the banana inside. It takes a lot more work to get it going. The opposite end is much easier. Just pinch and peel. So what's the downside here? Just that it puts this right in your first bite. This is a remnant of the banana flour. But based on a lot of memes that I've seen, people seem to really hate it. If you have a real phobia of this part, the stem end might be your best option. Now, while we're talking about dislike parts of the banana, we have to talk about banana strings. I personally don't mind eating them if I'm in a hurry and the banana is nice and ripe. But from what I can tell, a lot of people really dislike them. But bananas really like them. These phloem bundles are essentially their vascular system, transporting nutrients up and down the fruit. Okay, so we are talking about dessert bananas today, but I just have to do a tiny bit of cooking. And you guessed it, we're making banana bread. Look, I know everyone has a banana bread recipe that they really love, but this isn't any ordinary banana bread. This is Cook's Illustrated Deputy Food Editor Andrea Geary's recipe for 6 banana bread. You heard that right, 6. Half a dozen, double a triple, quarter of 24, eighth of 48. Okay, I'm done. Let's just go to the kitchen. We are going to start by microwaving 5 of our very ripe bananas for 5 minutes. Now we'll strain them through a fine mesh strainer and look at how much liquid came out. This step gets us about half to 3/4 of a cup of banana juice. And that's too much juice. Sorry, what I mean is it's a lot of liquid to add back into the loaf. So we'll reduce it on the stovetop to 1/4 of a cup, concentrating its sweetness and flavor. Then we'll add the bananas back to the liquid. It's like 2 old friends getting back together after one of them has had some serious life changes. Cool. We'll mash the bananas until smooth, and then we'll stir in butter, eggs, brown sugar, and vanilla. These wets go into these dries, which is just flour, baking soda, and salt. Then we'll fold until only streaks of flour remain. Quick sidebar, this language, until only streaks of flour remain, is really common in baking recipes and particularly quick breads. But why do we need to leave streaks? It's not that streaks of flour are important. We don't actually need the streaks of flour. It's just that they are a great visual indicator of when you should stop stirring or folding. Mixing any further can develop too much gluten, which leads to a tough quick bread. And don't worry, there's enough moisture in this bread that those streaks of flour will easily hydrate with no more stirring. Now we just pour the batter into our loaf pan and pop it straight in the oven. What? Oh, the 6 banana. Of course, double or triple. We'll just peel the banana, I'm going from the bottom end, and then slice it 1/4 inch thick. We'll shingle those slices on either side and then rain down some sugar. Then we just bake. And just look at this absolute star. I gotta slice this and try a bite. That is so good. It's really moist, it has incredible banana flavor and a perfect texture. The only thing that's better than this slice of banana bread is this slice of banana bread that's been griddled on both sides in lots of butter. It is crispy and warm with a nice soft center. Oops, there's a scoop of ice cream on my plate. Whether out of hand while driving to work or baked into a bread, this is absolutely how to eat bananas. Thank you all so much for watching. Now, as a banana lover, you should know that while working conditions for banana workers across the globe have improved in the past few decades, they're still far from where they should be. Dangerous working conditions are unfortunately still really common. There's a link below this video to the Rainforest Alliance for you to check it out and help pitch in. Now, while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button, grab that banana bread recipe, and you have to let me know your banana ripeness, preference, and your dedication to that level. I'm a highly speckled 7, and I'll see you next time.